What's up, everybody? Welcome to Match Day 3 U.S. Men's National Team recap here on Touchline Talk. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the content going up on the channel. Final score, Turkiye 3, USA 2. U.S. lose for the first time this tournament. Lose the opportunity to go perfect in the group stage 3 for 3. Obviously, the context of this game is different. There was nothing to play for. The group had already been clinched. Mauricio Pochettino took advantage of that. I was generally in favor of the lineup that went out there and fully in support of the overall concept of resting players and not risking yellow cards. I would not have changed goalies. Matt Freese has not gotten a lot of action, which is a good thing and a testament to how well this team has done defensively. You knew you were going to get a little bit more of a challenge in this game. I would have liked to see Freese out there to just get some more reps, deal with some more shots. That was my biggest issue, and the other issue that Pochettino was dealing with as a result of the roster he picked. All of a sudden, you don't want to risk Tyler Adams. Christian Roldan picks up an injury, and you are really short at the base of your midfield. And so you had to pick somebody from your starting lineup to play with Sebastian Berhalter. He went with Weston McKennie. Malik Tillman came on at the end. But that was the other consequence here is maybe Roldan gets that start instead of McKennie if he was available. You only really have 3 guys and 2 other guys who can play that position. And so Weston McKennie got the start again, but fully in support of the idea of resting, saving the guys on yellows, and seeing what this other group, getting these guys some minutes, getting them some confidence, a little more comfort so that if they're called upon in the knockout stage, they will have just a little bit more experience, a little bit of taste of what this feels like and understand what it's like to be in one of these games. Starts really well again. Another goal in the opening 10 minutes. This one on a set piece. Austin Trusty gets his first international goal. He had a very solid game, had a couple good defensive plays in the second half as well. And the big thing from this group stage for me, before kind of diving into some of the things in this game in particular, this team is scoring goals. And they're scoring them in different ways. The set pieces were really, really good in this game. I'm going to talk about that a little bit later as well. That's a really good sign. Even if it doesn't end in a victory, this is a team that doesn't score goals. It's a team that doesn't necessarily break teams down well. And they are scoring goals. To get another 2 goals, to have the same kind of start, the same level of intensity, the same sense of purpose from the opening kickoff with an almost totally changed team out there is a really good sign. Now, was it great after that, particularly the rest of the first half? Not so much, which disappointing. And also, I was glad to see this team face some adversity and a different style of opponent. This is the kind of team that wants the ball. You saw what Arda Güler did in the first half, how talented this Turkiye team is. And I don't buy for 1 second this idea of they're already eliminated, so they technically, literally, they have nothing to play for. But don't get caught up in that. They have something incredibly important to play for, which is trying to kind of save their pride in their showing in this tournament because the first 2 games went so poorly. They were absolutely motivated to go try and win this game. To me, it really wasn't all that different in any sense as it would be if they needed to win this game to get to the knockout stage. Of course, you can't simulate that kind of motivation to continue your tournament, but they found plenty of motivation in trying to just end this on a high note, put in a good showing, get a win to go back home with. So this is a really good test for kind of this B squad, if you want to call it, that Mauricio Pochettino put out there. And again, you saw what Turkiye can do. It makes you wonder, where was this team the first couple match days, first couple games? Because this was supposed to be the game of the group, and it became the most insignificant game in the group. But I did think it was good for the U.S. to get some adversity, find a way to bounce back after giving up a couple goals. You give up the third one late. Clearly, the defense was not as solid in this game. Part of that is absolutely that you've got guys out there who aren't used to playing with each other. You changed your goalkeeper, and this is the most dynamic attacking team the U.S. has faced. So I'm not losing too much sleep over that at the end of the day. The frustrating part for me, and the one other notable thing before I kind of hit on a couple final points here. One of the really important things that maybe isn't getting quite enough attention about the first two games is the fact that the U.S. kind of kept going for the most part after they got those early goals. It never really felt like they lost control of games. Australia maybe to a certain extent in the second half, but not until they got the second goal. And those moments right before halftime, the moments where games can turn, before after goals, before after halftime, the U.S. has been excellent in this tournament. You score, you pretty much immediately give up an equalizer. You think you might have a goal, Turkiye come back right back down. That gets disallowed right back down the field. Score 2-1. There were these lapses in concentration coming off of these important moments in the game. That has to change. That cannot become a theme here. So that is something to monitor moving forward. Is you've got to stay locked in. You've got to stay switched on, specifically in those dangerous moments right before and after halftime, right before and after big moments in the game where it feels like things are kind of calming down because something important just happened. That's often when you're kind of at your most vulnerable. You saw that in this game. The one player in particular I want to give a shout out to here is Sebastian Berhalter. There were some bad moments, certainly. But there were an awful lot of really, really good ones, too. The set pieces, the goal, the ball to Pulisic. You go down the list. And I understand there's the segment of the U.S. fan base that still goes Vancouver Whitecaps, MLS. And I'm to the point where I'm putting Sebastian Berhalter in the Alex Freeman category when Alex Freeman's at Orlando City. Sure, by definition, he's an MLS player. But he is a European quality player playing in MLS. And if Sebastian Berhalter wants to go to Europe, that is going to happen in the near future. He is that good. And what he specifically brings to this team, and I've been talking about this, it was the argument I made for Jack McGlynn. There's a reason Gio Reyna had his place on this team no matter what was happening at the club level. It's because you don't have another guy like that. The other thing this team doesn't have is somebody who is a dead ball, kind of free kick, long distance passing specialist. Sebastian Berhalter is that guy. And this is, I think, one of the things that has really entrenched him in this team, outside of all of the kind of intangible qualities that Pochettino loves about him, is the set pieces were phenomenal tonight. Obviously, you saw what he could do on the goal. You saw some of the passing. There just isn't another player in this squad that can do those things the way that Sebastian Berhalter can. And so that doesn't necessarily mean he needs to start the next game or should start the next game. But when you're chasing a goal late and you're trying to find solutions, or it's a tie game and you're going to extra time, you're trying to do something different, add a different dimension to the game. Reyna and Berhalter are which it's weird to put them in this same category as I'm talking about this, but those are the two guys that offer you this technical quality on the ball and the ability to go break a team down to make something happen. And so you saw a lot of really, really good things from Sebastian Berhalter in this game, so I wanted to give him a shout out. And then looking forward, as the results are kind of coming in from this match day 3, it is now confirmed that, I guess the other thing I'll mention too, real quick, is good to see Christian Pulisic back out there. Wasn't necessarily convinced he was going to get minutes. Ultimately, I've come down on the side of, if he's good enough to go, it's good to get him kind of back in the swing of things, get him back on the field so that he's back kind of in tune with what these games feel like and what the intensity level is, so that when you get to Bosnia here, he's just that much closer to being ready to go play 75, 90 minutes, be an impact player from the start of the game. So speaking of Bosnia, it is now confirmed that the U.S. is going to play Bosnia in the round of 32. Don't have too much to say here. There was an opportunity to go do something the U.S. has never done, which is to, well, winning the group was part of that, and also to go win all 3 group stage games. Obviously, the U.S. failed to do that. I don't really put too much stock in this game moving forward. I'm not too concerned about it. Yes, it kind of dulls some of the momentum and the excitement around this team, but I just feel like that was bound to happen at some point, and honestly, I'd rather have it happen now than something weird in the round of 32 where everything is perfect for the group stage, and then something goes wrong right when you get to the knockout stage, and all of a sudden all this good work kind of unravels. And look, that could still happen. Bosnia are a difficult team to break down. They've got some dynamic players who can go score goals. They've given teams trouble. There's a reason that they got through to the round of 32. The U.S. should win this game. Of course, that does not mean that they're going to. Of course, they cannot take anything for granted. That is just a fact, though. They're going to be favored. It is a favorable matchup. That is their reward for what they have done in this group stage and for getting this group taken care of and clinched with a game to spare. They got to rest players. They got to do what they wanted in this game, leave the players out that they wanted to, and you built the pathway for a deep run in this tournament. Now the question is, can you go take advantage of it? And I will say this, and I'll come back to this whenever the U.S.'s tournament does end, but even if it does end in the round of 32, that cannot take away, and this game also should not take away from how impressive this collective effort and this group stage has been. That just needs to be acknowledged because it's going to be forgotten very quickly now that we're into the knockout, one and done elimination phase. But what this team has done, the energy, the enthusiasm, the positivity, the way that they have gotten this country behind them when they were coming from a very low point on the popularity scale because of everything that's happened over the past few years and all of their shortcomings and disappointing results and bad performances. It's been awfully impressive. And I don't want that to get lost in the now find a way to win phase of this tournament. I talk about this all the time, but you got to look at more than just the result. All of this means something. And now we get to go see what this looks like in the knockout stage with the starters back on the field. Pulisic theoretically available from the start, and see where this team can go and just how long they can survive in the knockout stage of this tournament. That's all I've got. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you after the Bosnia game.